So in this video, I'm going to talk about the prompt hierarchy from least to most, and I have a visual aid here so that way you can follow along with me. So what is a prompt? A prompt is a cue for the learner to be able to assist them in learning new skills. We want the patient to be successful, and we want them to be able to get their reinforcement and to learn these new skills, so that's why we would go into a prompt. So at the very beginning, from least to most, there is the natural cue or independence, which is just me stating something and then like a question or an LR or something of that, and then them being able to appropriately and accurately respond to that without my assistance at all. Then next would be the gestural cue. And gestural is just me being least invasive, just like pointing to something, pointing to the target, pointing to like whatever it was that I want them to respond to. Verbal is going to be me verbally telling them the answer, and then I'll go further into that as I give you examples. And then after verbal would be visual picture. So visual picture would be me basically moving it closer to you to indicate that this is what I want you to say, and then yeah, so just telling you this is what I want you to say, this is the correct response. And then modeling would be like me modeling the action or modeling whatever it is that I want you to do. Then partial physical, I always say that partial physical is going to be from your elbow up. So anytime that you have to assist in like those more invasive prompts, you're going to want to like either tap them on the like shoulder, you're going to tap them on the elbow to get them to do the action or the thing that you want them to do. And then full physical I always say is from elbow to below, to like where your hands are. So you might have to basically take your hand over their hand and get them to do the correct response that you want, whatever that target is. Okay, and so for this, I've just went over what the prompt hierarchy was for least to most. Now I'm going to just demonstrate it for you and show you. So let's say that for an independent response, I have two items. I have a pen and I have this mask, and I would say, okay, touch the mask. And then an independent response would be you touching the mask without me having to go in and assist. So that goes back to what I said a prompt was. So I'm using no prompts, so this would be considered independent. So next would be the gestural prompt. So if I said touch the mask and you were not touching the mask at all, I usually give 3 to 5 seconds because there could be some sort of latency. But if you were not responding, I would go in with my least intrusive, which is the gestural, pointing to the item that I want you to touch. And then that would be gestural prompting. And then next is the verbal on the hierarchy scale. But in this scenario, I would not be doing a verbal prompt because I'm not asking for a verbal response. So I would skip that step in this scenario and go straight to visual picture. So in this instance, touch the mask, and I would move this closer to you, indicating that this is the response. I want you to touch this target. This is closer than what this is, so I want you to touch this, right? So that would be visual picture. Next would be modeling. So in this scenario, touch the mask. I would actually just like touch the mask myself, modeling that this is what the SD touch the mask. This is what I want you to do by actually touching it. So I'm modeling it for you, so hopefully that you will also do the same as me. Partial physical, so in this instance, like I said earlier, partial physical would be from elbow up, so I might touch their shoulder to, or I might touch their elbow to get them to touch the mask. And then the most invasive is going to be full physical, so me actually taking their full hand and making them legitimately touch it. So that's the full examples for the prompt hierarchy. So going back to what I stated earlier with only accepting, like only using a verbal prompt for a verbal response. So for instance, if I wanted you to say my name, and I said, what's my name? And then they didn't know my name, I might go in and say, what's my name? Jordan. I just gave the verbal prompt of the answer that I wanted. So what's my name? Jordan. And then hopefully they respond back with Jordan. Oh, great. And I might go in with a transfer, what's my name? And then them responding Jordan. So that would be an example of a verbal prompt. And that is the prompt hierarchy.